We're going to go straight into it as always. Now, Jose Mourinho, this season, objective-wise, should he be brave enough? In some opinions, he should be. Should he be brave enough to come out and say, we're going for the title? Or would he be reserved again and maybe say that we're just building, it's a big gap to fix, and etc., etc.?
I think he'll play it down, as he always does. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's mind games, whether he believes that we can win it or not, I think he's going to play it down because that's what he always does. You know what I mean? He never talks his teams up and then delivers. It's always, but this, but that, but we've got injuries, whatever. Even if he doesn't mean it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the
he just likes to be divisive,
yeah.
innit?
He does. He likes the kind of low expectations and then over-deliver so then he can talk himself up in it. So I think it'll be more of the same. But given that he signed a 3-year deal in the first place, this is his 3rd year. If he doesn't do something great, then he needs to be asked questions.
And that's the thing, like, you talk about a manager should be given 3 years. A lot of people do believe in that, like that whole 3-year thing. Let them build something. All right, the first transfer window is yours, then your second is your embedment, then your third one, you should be where you need to be. And we know, obviously with the business we've done already, that we maybe not be so close to where we need to go. But he should really be saying, as Manchester United manager, we're trying to chase City and we are trying to win the league, surely.
He should say that, but knowing him, he might say something very left, like away from that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. We're supposed to be chasing City. We're nowhere near where we should be in terms of recruitment. We haven't got much longer till the season starts. We're not even in the same postcode, bruv. Let alone anywhere near where we need to be, bruv. Like at the moment, this window has been a disaster, innit? But a lot can change in a week or 2 weeks' time. We'll just have to see. I don't think we can use the World Cup as an excuse to get business done because players are being signed during the World Cup. So I think that's not an excuse. I think it's gone a lot very quiet with the Darmian situation with Juventus. So I have a feeling that they're trying to tie in maybe the Sandro deal with the Darmian thing, and that's why it's taking a bit longer.
Which is a good move for both teams, isn't it? That's what we want.
It is a good move for both teams as long as it gets done in time, innit? Like we're hearing Daily Blind has agreed terms with Ajax, but we want more money for him and all of this. United never do well selling players anyway,
No,
so
it's not our forte, is it?
no, not at all, man. And our signings always take a million years to complete. So I think, as usual, we will do everything last minute, and I don't know what that's going to be like for our preparation. I have a feeling by the time we start the pre-season tour, we won't even have all our players.
Exactly. Well, you look at the World Cup now, there's a lot of our players still there in the latter stages.
Yeah, exactly that. But I'm not worried about the players we have. I'm more worried about the players that we don't have that need to that need to gel, you know? Even if we buy a good few players, if they don't get a pre-season under their belt, people made the same excuse about Alexis. Oh, just give him a pre-season. So if you get some decent players without a pre-season and they come in, then what? Do you know what I mean? Is that another crap season and then we have to wait till next year again?
Is it a no excuse thing for Jose this season, like crunch time? Crunch time.
I think so. I think so. Unless something dramatically changes with the style of football at the club, because the football we've been playing is so crap to watch that anything less than a trophy is unacceptable. You know what I mean? If we were playing decent football and we weren't quite doing it, I think people would be more sympathetic to him. Do you know what I mean? But we're not being entertained and we're not winning. So
what are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? What
yeah.
are we doing? Literally, we're just existing, innit? That's not good enough to just exist for a club of our stature. So I believe that something drastic needs to change in terms of like the trophy cabinet, the league position, or the style of football. Or he's a certified goner, bro. Yeah.
I think a lot of United fans. Firstly, just we've got a lot of planes going past and helicopters and that. Hopefully, you're not picking up too much of that. Just on I think a lot of Man United fans would be happy just to see us mount a serious challenge. Like I said, if we got to the end of the season, having been toe-to-toe with a City or a Chelsea or whoever it may be, toe-to-toe, and we lost out by 5 points or 4 points because of a one-off result against some other, like, you can take that. You know what I mean? It's the fact that what hurt us most last year was the complete inability to mount a title challenge. So really, for me, I agree, man. Jose's almost got to come out and say, yeah, we're going for the title. Of course, with Man United, our objective every year it should be really to win the title. Yeah. But knowing Jose, you know what he's like. He's a tactician, masterclass person. That's, you know, he's probably going to come out and say some nonsense like, well, we'll just see where we're going to go, where we've got new players bedded in. And, you know, that's Jose. I mean, what you guys think? We want to see what you guys think. Should Jose just come out at the beginning of the season, slap it on the table, first press conference, boom, we're here to win this title and I'm not going to be happy unless we do? Or do you think he's building, and do you think it's not the end of the world if we don't win the title next season, or what that looks like if we don't? It's probably the manner if we don't challenge. Now, next topic for today, Marouane Fellaini, and I know we've spoke about him in the last, we're not talking about him signing and all that. He had a very good game against Brazil, because we're just going to talk about the United players at the World Cup, but Fellaini in particular, he played really well for against Brazil. Actually in a midfield role, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was, and why can't, we'll go on to Lukaku as well, but why can't we emulate that where we are?
Bro, he was playing with better players. He was also playing in a system where he knew his role. His role in that specific game was just to destroy. That was it. That was it, man. Like, he bullied that Brazilian team. Like, he just needed to get physical with them, man, because they're, you know what I mean, that team, a lot of flair, but there's not a lot of grit in that team. Do you know what I mean? So all he done was he just stuck it on people like Neymar and all of them people, and he just bullied them. That's all it was. Like, it wasn't an amazing performance. He stuck his foot in there. A lot of the time, they were doubling up on the Brazilian players, and the second ball, Fellaini was winning it, nudging someone off and passing it 2 yards, innit?
Yeah.
I'm all good when Fellaini...
Which is his strength.
Yeah. I'm all good when he's passing it 2 yards. When he tries to open up and do other things, I'm not here for that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not that kind of player. So, even though that's not his best position, he had one good game. Let's not get carried away, innit?
But that's against Brazil, and it was good. If we not deploy him in like that, is there no chance that we could get that out of him on a consistent basis?
We can't deploy him like that because we don't have the shape, we don't have the system, and we don't have the coach, man. Even when you look at how Belgium counter-attack and how quickly they transition from defence to attack, which is the reason why Lukaku looked amazing for them. We move the ball so lethargically, yeah, that Lukaku looks like half the player he looks in a Belgium shirt. Do you know what I mean? People saying Lukaku had a good season last season. I disagree. Like, when you're scoring less goals for Manchester United than you do for the likes of Everton, you seriously have to look at the football that United are playing. Yeah,
and that's what I was going to say. That's more. It's like you're saying it's a more. It's not. You're not saying that he's not good or he's not a top draw player. What you're saying is, it's not actually as good a season as it seems like it is.
Not for a player of his caliber.
Because of the way we play.
And a player of his ability. Like, it's actually a poor season when you look at it, because he had got less league goals than Raheem Sterling, bro. And people are giving Raheem Sterling a hell of a lot of stick in this tournament compared to the praise Lukaku's getting. But Sterling scored more league goals than him from out wide. So, do you know what I'm saying? That means if it's not Lukaku's fault, it's Jose's fault. It's one of their faults, isn't it?
Well, because for Lukaku on a personal level, he scored, I think, the most goals in a campaign that he's ever scored. I know it's in the cup competition, so altogether it's 27, I think it was.
But I don't care about that because he played more games as well. Like, he weren't playing in Europe for Everton really like that. Do you know what I mean? So he played more games. I mean, because per 90 minutes, his ratio, goals to games ratio, is not great. You know what I mean? It wasn't even in the top 8. So I'm not really trying to hear that. Like, he played more games and he played more minutes. So because of that, it makes sense. Playing with better players, you're going to score more goals as a whole campaign. But actually, in terms of a Premier League campaign, it wasn't really great. I don't think we should have... United shouldn't have a number 9 that's not scoring 30 goals, bro. Like, it shouldn't happen.
And I think with Lukaku, I think when seeing him for Belgium and seeing, like, I tweeted it, I was just like, why can't we get him turned, running at defenders? He's at his most effective when he's running at the goal or at a defender. And and after I sent out that tweet, I thought, hang on, Flex, it's not really that hard to work out. You just look at the way we play, our transition. Like, some people were saying that it's because we have the ball a lot. Teams sit back against us, but no, I don't think it's that.
We don't have the ball a lot. Like, we're not a possession-based team, United. We're not, innit? Like, we don't keep the ball very well. Like,
teams come out at us. They're not scared to play us anymore.
Every 2-3 passes, we lose the ball, innit? We don't keep the ball well. And when we do, it's in our own half. Do you know what I mean? Let's be honest. We don't keep the ball well in the opposition half. We don't. That's a lie. It's just like somebody said, Simeone and Mourinho are quite similar tactically. They're not. Like, if you see the way Atletico Madrid break, within 3 passes, they're in the final third. Like, they don't play across and that. It's boom, boom, get it up to Griezmann. Like, that's it. That's how Belgium played with Lukaku. Like, there was one run that he went on against Brazil when he picked the ball up on the outside right and he went motoring. Even though he tripped over his own feet, as he does, he skinned the guy alive, from like the halfway line.
Just roasted him,
and roasted him, man. Like, he needs grass to run into. Like, he needs to be facing the goal. All this back to goal, hold it up. His touch.
At Everton, he didn't play like that. He played like running at people, running in the channels, coming from central space into some space, then driving, then coming infield. That's how we played even at Everton.
You fizz the ball into Lukaku, yeah, from 20 yards off him, yeah, the ball's ending up in a car park, innit? Most of the time. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. He hasn't got that.
Yeah.
But facing up players, he can run with them, he can run at them, he can push it past them and run past them, and he can get his head up, deliver a good cross, or, as you saw for the dummy that he played for Chadley's goal, he's got the intelligence to know when to trap the ball, when to let it go, how to link up. Like, he's a good player. But the system we play does not even remotely get the best out of him.
I looked at that goal, the Kevin De Bruyne goal, the second goal for Belgium, and the way Lukaku travelled with that ball, waited for the right time to release the pass, and did. I just looked at it and thought, yes, obviously he's primarily a goal scorer, so I'm not saying I want him to be our lead assist, but to spearhead the attack like that, that's what I want to see in a United shirt. I want to see him week in, week out, looking like a threat, looking like the man. We have to find a way to get him to play like that for us. We've got to.
Yep, and then that comes down to the attacking coach and the philosophy. Like, a lot of the time, Belgium want to break fast and they take risks. They try and pass forward, innit? United players look like they're too scared to lose the ball, and they always go for the safe option. Can't do that. You know what I mean? So to get the best out of him, and it's no coincidence that all of our players look better playing for other managers, bro. Like, it's starting to worry me. Like, I was
Ashley Young looks alright.
Bro, I was
Let's keep him left back.
I was saying, yeah, right, it's the manager. Everyone's like, no, back the manager. Always back the manager. Why do our players look better playing for other teams? Yeah. Why? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other reason. It's the coaching. It's clear, innit? Martinez had Lukaku at Everton, so he knows how to get the best out of him. Because Lukaku's playing up front on his own, just like he does for United. Why does he look like a complete different player?
Complete different.
Complete. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? He looks like one of the best strikers in the world, playing for Belgium. I mean, his touch is still a bit mad, but...
Is he one of the best strikers in the world?
If you play to his strengths, I think he's one of the most dangerous, for sure. Like, in terms of finishing and that, like, he will always do something mad, innit? And put the ball somewhere it doesn't need to be. But in terms of complete player leading the line as like a number 9 up top, I think if you play him like that, he has to be the best of his type. Because there's different types of strikers. You got your poachers, you got your cute little link-up strikers. But in terms of just leading the line, if he plays like that, there's no one that can stand next to him. No one.
I agree. He's a quality player. We just need to obviously find out to get the best out of him. Now, there's been pictures in the media. Actually, before we go on to that, again, we want to get your comments on that. Yeah, make sure you drop your views in the comments in the boxes with the Lukaku situation. How do we get the best out of him? Is it just Mourinho that's stifling him? Is it our style of play, or Lukaku just wants to play better with his countrymen? Maybe it's a bit of that, but we'll see what you guys feel. Always about interaction, right? I was looking forward to this bit, right? Last little bit, because there's loads of people at us saying, "Ha, look at Luke Shaw now, he's ripped." And I did say at the beginning of the first week where you ripped him, I said, yeah, but what if he shows like some intense training and comes back all ripped and that, and you had an answer for that. Now you've seen the pictures, he's got the 6-pack out, he's, you know what I mean,
yeah,
well, or the 4-pack.
6-pack, innit?
The 4-pack. What's your thoughts on that?
Everyone's getting excited saying he's ripped, bruv. Like, that is what my off-season body looks better than that, innit? So that don't excite me, innit? You're a professional athlete, bro. Like, anyone can crash diet and lose weight quickly, bruv. You see it with fighters and all of that. They can drop 2-3 stone in a week. Like, one, it's not healthy, and two, it's not sustainable. Like, I want to see you look like that all year before I give you plaudits. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to say well done because you've got the United fitness coach with you and he's probably put you on a few chicken salads and you've done a few runs. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're depleted of water and when you're in a hot country like that and when you've got a banging Instagram filter...
You're going to drop that body percent fat, innit?
You can look like that. Is it with an Instagram filter, bruv? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying...
Rants don't want to give him any props, you know? Even for getting himself back in shape.
Bro, that's mad. You can't give a man props. That's your job. Do you know what I mean? Imagine, yeah, if you worked on the train barriers, yeah, and you opened the barriers for someone, bruv, and someone applauded you, blood.
You're doing your job.
You're doing your job, blood. You didn't go above and beyond, bruv. That's your job, innit? Like, that's what you get paid for. That's like applauding a waiter for coming collecting your plates, bruv. Like, you say thank you, but it's their job, like. Do you know what I mean?
So basically what you're saying is, well done, Shaw, but you should have done that.
Yeah, it's your job, bruv. Like, I'm not going to applaud you for doing your job. When you're not playing for 6 months, I want to see you still looking like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about pre-season. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about that.
I can't wait until we're doing a fan cover at one of the games and we see Luke Shaw at Barcelona.
Yeah, bro, I don't care. Do you know what I'm saying, bruv? You know what I mean? Because the thing is, I like him as a footballer. Technically, I think he's a good player, but his attitude is what I don't like, bruv. You know what I mean? It was the same with Wayne Rooney, great footballer, but I didn't like his attitude in terms of how he looked after himself. If he did, he wouldn't be in America now, bruv. Look, Ronaldo and him are the same age. Ronaldo's going to probably get another move to a top league, and this guy's playing in a pensioner league.
But Rooney is our all-time leading scorer.
Bruv, I don't care about that. He would have played at United even longer at the highest level if he looked after himself. There's no reason why he wouldn't still be at the club now if he didn't look after himself.
Because he could have adapted his role and kind of found himself and still been effective.
Ryan Giggs played up to 40 years old, okay? So Wayne Rooney is what, 32?
Something like that, yeah.
Come on, mate. Do you know what I mean? If he looked after himself, he could have still been in the prime of his career.
Look at Zlatan. He's a prime example of that as a striker.
Zlatan's 36 years old, and look at the difference between a Zlatan Ibrahimovic and a Wayne Rooney. Do you know what I mean? Zlatan went to America because he's done enough and he's been around long enough. Wayne Rooney should still be at Premier League level if he looked after himself, but he hasn't. So that doesn't take anything away from his footballing talent, but the facts speak for themselves, innit? And it's the same with Luke Shaw. But what's worse is you're 22 years old?
Yep.
Bro, you're supposed to be you're supposed to be in such good shape that no one should be questioning you at that age. No.
We've addressed it, you know, didn't want to hide. We always talk about the things you want to talk about. And yeah, I know it's been a topic for the past 3 shows because it's always been a flirting, but because of the picture of the resurgence, we had to tackle that.
Yeah, bruv, because they're at in and that, and they're like, boom, but
you were like, what did you lot say again?
United is an elite football club. As a fan, if you're okay with your players not taking their job seriously, then that's down to you, innit? Like, you're applauding a man that gets paid, what, millions a year to play football for losing a bit of fat that he should have never had on him in the first place. Sorry, like, our expectations are a bit different. You know what I mean? That's all I can say.
That clears that one up. Now, this is what I really want to get your take on as well. A lot of United fans, obviously, the huge bid, 88 million from Juve for Ronnie, for CR7. The sentiment of him coming back would have been nice. But there's other players out there that we could invest that heavily in for longer periods of time. Some people saying, just pay the money, get Ronaldo for 1 season, let him bat out. I remember me and you were getting absolutely gassed after the game he had against Spain, is it? And we were just like, just sign him up, don't care what it is. But now we'll come back down to earth as well. He looks like he's probably going to go Juve. Should we actually be in the race to sign him? Should we try and hijack that and test his sentiment, see if he wants to come back, or just leave it where it is?
Leave it, bruv. I believe if Ronaldo wants to come back to United, he'll come back, innit? Like, I believe if we're in for him, we'll get him. So if he doesn't come to us, then we weren't in for him. It's that simple, innit? So I think Juve is a good move for him because he's guaranteed another league title, another a good stint in the Champions League as well. And it's also another country, and it just furthers his legacy, man. If he can retire, having won league titles in England, Spain, and Italy, and possibly Ballon d'Ors in all of them countries, then no one could talk to him, innit? So I think for legacy, it would make more sense to go to Juventus than to come back to United. And for us, I don't think we need to be investing that kind of money in a player his age, even though he's still one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, he is. I think I agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. We were absolutely. I hold my hands up. We both sat here and said, "Sign him up, mate. Don't care what it is." But when you break it down, there's so many other areas of the squad that we could potentially invest that heavily into. And you're looking at it thinking, surely we're going to get a marquee signing. Surely we're going to get a marquee signing. Like, something big's got to happen. Surely.
Bruv, I think like the Milinkovic-Savic to Real Madrid thing's gone a bit silent. Like, if we end up signing him, I'll take that as a marquee. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll take that as a marquee. I don't really want a big name for the sake of big names because the Falcaos, the Di Marias, none of them really worked out. So I think we need to think about the actual balance of the squad, what we need. And I think that Ronaldo is not what we need. He's not a wide player. I said this on Twitter. If there's an old Ronaldo that could play on both wings, then yeah, cool, bring him in. But he relies on playing centrally now. And we've got enough going on in the middle of the pitch. Lukaku has to start, which means where does Ronaldo play? What, in the 10? Nah. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not going to play him beside Lukaku. So there's no room in the style that we play for Ronaldo unless he plays as the front man. And he's not displacing Lukaku. He's just not, innit? He doesn't have the legs anymore. So as far as I'm concerned, like, it would have been good for sentiment, but if we don't get him, like, I'm cool with that because he's not what we need. Like, I would much rather, there's been a lot of links with Martial to Bayern Munich. If that happens, I'd love Douglas Costa. I'd love Douglas Costa. You know what I mean? I'd take that all day. I think we need that kind of player. I don't think we need a massive name. Same with like Thomas Lemar, like he's going to
he's really
Atletico
gone.
Madrid, yeah. But I would have loved a Lemar type player at the club on the right hand side, clever. Do you know what I mean? Bit of pace. Do you know what I mean? Natural width. He can cross, but he can also pass. Do you know what I mean? He's versatile. He can play attacking midfield. He can play out wide. I believe a player like that, that's already good. They don't have to be already world class. Do you know what I mean? But they need to be of a very good standard to just play from that right-hand side. Riyad Mahrez would have been great, but now he's going to Manchester City.
He's pretty much going to City, yeah. I did say that earlier. I mean, the Willian thing, there's talks that we might try and get in there and to rival Barcelona for that. I already kind of know what your thoughts are, William. But for the people, what's your thoughts on that, if that was to materialise?
Barca can have him, bruv. You know them ones, they got Paulinho as well, man. They just got... I don't know what they're doing, you know what I mean? Paulinho, and they could just take him. Like, I don't want him, really. If he comes, cool, I support him. He's a decent player. But he's not shown me anything in this World Cup to suggest that he's Manchester United level. And he's a player that battles to start in the Chelsea team, innit? And that team, let's face it, you know what I mean? That's the worst Chelsea team that I've seen in the last decade, at least. And he couldn't even hold down a regular spot there. So, if those are the kind of players that we're going for, I really don't know for us. Do you know what I mean? I really don't know for us. So, Willian, decent player, but no thanks, mate.
Alexandro reported in the media as well that he's agreed terms with Manchester United, but Juventus are trying to hold out for whatever money they're holding out. I think it's 60 plus M's. Yeah?
Bro, I'll just pay the money. I don't care, innit? Like, we're not in a position to be haggling and that. Like, we need to get back to where we need to be, innit? City paid 50 million for Kyle Walker, so like the going rate for fullbacks of like a top level is about 50 M's anyway. So if they want 60, man, just give them the 60 million, bruv. Like, we don't have the time, one, and we don't have the quality.
But we have the money.
But we have the money. If we're going into the season with Ashley Young or Luke Shaw as our first choice left backs, we can absolutely forget it. Do you know what I mean?
Even if Luke Shaw was because even when he was playing well, we wanted him. We wanted him.
Yeah, we did want him, yeah. But the thing is, he's been at the club for 4 years and he's never been able to hold down a starting spot. So if we're trying to mount a title challenge, how are you going for a player like that hasn't even given us a full season yet? Do you know what I mean? It's a risk. Like, we can't afford to take many more risks, man. Like, Sandro's a top player. He will give us exactly what we need. He's experienced enough. He's at a good age.
And he's consistent.
Bro. That's what we need. And again, with Luke Shaw, he doesn't guarantee consistency. So I think, Sandro, you just pay the money and it's 60 M's. Like, we're not the Bank of Manchester. We don't care about revenue. We don't care about how much profit you've made. We don't care about what you pay the shareholders. Invest it in the club, innit?
Yeah. And the players. Listen, want to get your thoughts on that as well. Should we go all out for Sanchez? Should we be leaving Ronaldo where he is? Should we be trying to get him back to the club? We want to know what you guys think. Drop your views and comments in the boxes below on that. Now, before we go, obviously, it's coming home.
Bruv,
obviously, it's coming home.
Bruv. Like, listen to the plane, bruv.
I can hear it. It's on its way. We're in the semi-finals of the World Cup. It's not an England channel, but Manchester United is an English club, and we're English, so we've got to talk about it just for the last couple of minutes just before we go off. Sensational. Like, we are in the semi-finals of the World Cup, and the Man United players, especially Jesse, not so much Phil Jones, but Jesse is doing bits.
Jesse's been the most consistent player for England and playing out of position. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't had a bad game, man. He's doing a job for the boys. Like, everyone's just doing it, bro. I'm buzzing. I can't wait for it.
Look, Croatia, yes, look at their midfield. They've got Modric and Rakitic, sorry, and they've got obviously Perisic wide, and they've got good players. Mandzukic can cause trouble, but just send up Harry Maguire, man. Set piece, easy.
That's it, mate. Like, they've got decent players.
Did we try and buy Maguire? Sorry.
No.
No. Why not? Why not?
Nah, bruv, I don't like him. Like, I like him, but I don't like him. I like him for England.
Hold on a minute. What do you mean you don't like him?
I like him for England, but I don't like him for...
I've seen snaps of you jumping up and down when he scored, going crazy. You do like him.
I like him for England, but I don't like him for United, bruv, because then, like, boom, like, he's the most... He's
better than Jones?
I don't know, bruv. Like, as a defender, as a footballer on the ground, he is, but as a defender and that, I don't think he's better than Phil Jones. Like, I don't think he is in terms of where to be, winning the ball and all of that. I don't think he is. I just think he's He's in the opposition penalty area, isn't it? You know what I mean? But maybe Jose.
He's way better than Jones.
You'll fancy Jose will fancy him for that, but you know what I mean? It'll be him and Fellaini. Do you know what I mean? Set pieces and that, like doing tango with centre backs.
So that is worked. It's worked for England. Why can't it work for us? There's a new one. There's a new thing for you lot.
Do it. Nah. Sorry, Maguire. You know them ones there. Like I'm not on that. Like I want a nice cultured centre back now. I'm done with the Jones and the Smallings.
I rate Maguire. I got actually this one as well. Yeah, someone tweeted me today, or was it on Insta Live? Would you take Gareth Southgate as a Man United manager?
Bruv, Southgate's a top quality manager, but I think that international football suits him. You know what I mean? I think week in, week out, the week in, week out Southgate business. I don't know if he's
trying to ring me. Sorry.
I don't think he can do it week in, week out, but I think he's an England manager for the next 2 tournaments at least. Like give him 8 to 10 years.
But not at United.
But not at United.
Listen, drop your views in the comments in the boxes below. Do you think Gareth Southgate will make a good England manager? Sorry, a good United manager. Is it coming home? Even if you don't support England, we want to know what you think. You might want to hate on us. You might want to support us. Is it coming home? And what was the last thing we talked about just before that as well? Harry Maguire. Would you take him? Would you take him instead of a Phil Jones or a Chris Smalling? Let us know in the views.
Instead of Toby, because we're getting linked with proper centre-backs and you're trying to talk about Maguire.
I'd have Maguire, mate. I'll have Maguire all day, mate. He's solid. Yeah, over Toby. Yeah, I would. Nah, he's not.
Hot point Maguire, bruv. Built like a fridge, bruv. I'm telling you, hot point, bruv. Man don't want hot point Maguire, blood.
Yeah, hot point Maguire has been effective and he's going to make it come home. Anyway, that's the end of the show. We're going to see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Thanks for watching.